Yep.
This is the City Council Finance Subcommittee meeting from October 22nd, 2014. First on the agenda, we have two sets of minutes to approve. The first is from September 22nd, 2014.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to approve the minutes from September 22nd. All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. And also, Councilor Risk wasn't here, but we also have the minutes from October 8th. And I'll make a motion, we accept those minutes.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, on the minutes of October 8th. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
One abstention, 2-0. Mayor's communication.
Hello. Well, you probably already heard, but we've got, as usual, every time we meet, we've got lots going on, but lots of excitement, very good excitement. So, signed the notice of award for the Promenade project, and we're hoping that that'll get underway construction-wise in the next couple of weeks.
It'll start before winter.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And we're hoping that they can do as much as they can before winter, and then, depending on the severity of the winter, maybe still do some things, but yes, because it's very timely. The end of that, I believe, without double checking the date, is May 30th. So it's very timely, so they want to get started as
They want to
soon
get
as
done
possible.
by May 30th.
You know, so.
Great.
There's no extensions on that project. So the other thing is $2.99 million grant from MassWorks, which is really, we've had our fingers crossed on that for quite a while. We were thinking it was going to be positive, but you almost like don't want to get excited about things. But this is huge because this is phase 3. So the funny part, though, that that we're talking about. Phase 1 and Phase 2 has been all safety, unbelievable infrastructure, and especially in conjunction with Western Mass. And that is all the heavy things that have been done. Now this part is going to clean it up clean up the back where you'll actually be able, there'll be parking. So I call this the pretty stage. So finishing touches, but and this will be, you'll be able to actually go right from the bike path into the back of the building. So this is the part that everybody's going to notice.
Is it Eastworks and Peregrine Building?
Oh, it's all of them. Yeah, it's
Eastworks, 2 Peregrine.
180. I think there's, I believe, five involved.
5 buildings.
Well, maybe it's because there's going to be
And they're
CPA.
funny the way they're situated. Some are in the back, some are,
Maybe because there's CPA money also going to be involved. But is there going to be improvements almost to the center of, like the center by Richards or whatever, by the center of town, by the old fire station?
Oh,
I think there was at least some talk of some improvements along there too.
that would be
You
great.
have to get Jesse in.
That would be great because that's where we got, well, that's a different part of it. That's where we were able to, as Dan's saying, get some CPA funding on it.
Right.
And that was to, bring in the bike path part of it.
Right.
And the bike path was, they were
That's
thrilled.
the other part.
Yeah.
I was confused. It's the part down behind the
Oh, it's the one that's where the little fishing thing is or whatever it is.
No,
Not this fishing
there's
thing.
a Millside Park.
Oh, where the
Yeah.
bandstand is.
Right.
Right.
So maybe that's
Yeah, not the
Not
fire
really.
station.
Okay, I know what you mean.
Exactly, where they have the concerts.
Right.
So it'll tie that, which is already there.
'Cause I know they wanted to make some bike
They
paths
want-
coming off and stuff,
Yeah,
right? So they could.
the bike paths, the paths will come off our bike path now and go to the back of the mills. So the whole thing is to be able to enter the mills from the back, and but like I said, not that it's funny, but the funny part is all the infrastructure and the safety and the water and all of that electrical. That's all phase 1 and phase 2, but this is the part everybody's going to notice.
Right, because the
So
first
we
two
are
phases.
so excited.
It doesn't look much different after the first 2 phases, is what you're saying.
Right.
It's all.
And once you get into the finishing touches and a lot of the the back people that have businesses in the backs of the mills, they'll be thrilled because this will provide their parking and it'll provide the routes right to them because they felt that they were inconvenienced during this project, which had to happen. I mean, I know any type of construction project is an inconvenience, but this is unbelievable that this even happened. There's no way this could have ever happened without this money. So we're very excited, and I'm pretty sure that everybody knows how competitive it is to get, these MassWorks grants. But phase 1, 2, and 3, I'm just so impressed. So we couldn't be happier.
Okay.
So,
Anything else?
No.
I do have, I forgot to mention too at the city council, what I also scheduled, and it might be as early as tomorrow, I'm waiting for dates back and forth. I talked to you about the microburst and, and the funding and everything, but I also scheduled a meeting with the commissioner of the DCR. I mean, that is the state property, the road is ours, but that is the state property, but we have, major concerns about what their intent in the future is. So I have a meeting scheduled, I'm hoping it's going to happen either Thursday, I'm just waiting to hear back from Chief Mutter. I've been, going back and forth with DCR. So I'm going to have our DPW director there, I'll have our highway supervisor there, and then Chief Mutter as our emergency management. And I just, we kind of want to get a plan. What is your plan? It's your property, we know that, but...
So you're saying what's going to be done with all those trees that are cut but just laying there?
Well, they're going to
on the
reforest all of them. I mean, they're going to...
Are they going to remove them? Are they going to cut them? There's a lot of people saying, we've heard a lot when we were up there, for those 2 days. Leave them there, let them rot, and it goes back into vegetation. Take them out, and you have mudslides. This isn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ones that are uprooted, that are in danger to our road.
okay.
My concern is not with their Mountaintop Reservation. My concern
The ones
is,
that are leaning sort of...
you got it, that are showing any type of danger to our road, where, we've already had one tree come down, and of course the funniest thing is the tree that came down was a perfectly standing one. It wasn't one of the ones uprooted and hanging down, And there's been talk about they should remove them all, what are they going to do? But I want to know, feel so that we're protected on our end. Like, what is their plan, and what are they going to do, and what works and what doesn't? They sure as heck should know.
If they have a plan.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll develop a plan.
So, but they have, I cannot tell you how responsive, I am just so impressed, between, the governor's office, dealing with, of course, Rick Sullivan, as chief of staff, being the former mayor. I mean, he has been my right-hand person.
Yeah.
And, and MEMA, but dealing, and then, just getting these meetings together. What do you need? What do you need? Sure, okay, we'll be there then. We'll be there. It's like, unbelievable response. Very surprising. It's just wonderful. So I thought, just update you on that. That's all I can think of.
Okay.
And anything else comes up, just ask.
Okay. Public speakers, no one from the public. Continuing business, why don't we start with the tax classification first. Mark kind of went over it, Dan, because you weren't here. He went over the thing. He did provide tonight the minutes from the board, stating that that's there. I think we each got a copy of the minutes, stating that they want to keep it the 1-to-1 and with no exemptions to the 2 through 4 on the page. I know we had asked him a little about the residential classification, what a residential exemption was. We were just going through what some of those were, and he provided a little more, JP, a little more information there on these charts and stuff. And I didn't know if you had any questions, or if you want to just give Dan a couple of the highlights.
No, I don't need him to do that.
Okay.
I've been doing this for years.
No, what I meant by that,
I haven't changed anything.
No, I just meant how much, new growth we had, numbers like that, new
okay.
growth numbers, and
My
the percentage of business, and I guess there's a little more business percentage-wise.
Do you know what our new growth is for this year?
It was a little over 212,000.
A little over what?
212,000.
That's kind of low, isn't it? Normally it's, you don't have a lot of places to build, right?
Well, we had 16 new houses, a few new condos,
Okay.
really no new commercial growth.
212,000 is 16 new houses. Oh, that's $212,000 in taxes, my mistake. Yeah, I'm thinking of value.
You're thinking of the house.
Yeah.
They were real small.
They're really small. If every home was fully taxed 100%.
They were really small houses.
We wouldn't have to worry about funding anything.
It's from inspections, picking up
All
tax.
right, so we have 212 new growth. And what do you think, do you have any idea what the rate might be? You probably can't say anything about that yet, right?
Well,
really.
It's now it's 14.93, or what's that? Is that a,
Well, you're voting, don't forget, you're voting on a factor of 1 to keep
Okay.
the same rate.
okay,
You're not voting on the tax rate.
okay, I understand.
No, Dan.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious what you think it might be.
I don't think that's, you don't
Yeah,
want
me
to
idea.
guesses.
Would it be too guessy, right?
Yeah, then you don't want get, you like
That's
exact numbers, you don't want guesses.
Especially with tax rates. you know.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know if it's gonna go up, down, or be about the same?
The tax rate?
Right.
I have a good guess.
I bet it's up a little. And how about percentage, you said it was a little more commercial this year, or?
Yeah, but like I explained last time, most of that was from personal property, from the
Oh, yeah, for
new
the solar
panels.
You said, right, that goes on,
Yeah.
The commercial is up then.
yes, slightly.
Yeah, but not enough to make you guys vote other than a factor of 1.
So commercial would just be the solar mark?
Well, that's what caused the increase, is that what
No,
you
well,
mean?
Because you,
the solar is personal property.
okay, because you said no commercial.
Commercial, industrial, and personal property is kind of lumped together as a percent of the total value.
Versus
You know, what their
residential.
burden is.
Okay. Are we just voting on?
Just a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
A little aside, not quite regarding this particular matter, but in terms of sending out partial bills, I was curious what we're doing. Let's say on January 1st, we have, the person has a lot's worth of $100,000. On July 1st or June 30th, if somebody went out and valued, it's 50, there's a house 50% complete of finished value, 400,000, let's say. So the total potential could be half of the new
Yeah.
construction. Is that billed out in July as?
Yes,
as a new
the
bill?
only 2 quarters we can, correct me if I'm wrong, the only 2 quarters we can make changes in is the 1st and 3rd quarters.
Okay.
So if that house is built by June 30th, I can enter it into our billing system.
Let's say it's not complete, though, it's 50% complete.
Well, I can.
You can bill it out at 50%.
Right,
And we do that
yeah,
for our new constructions. It's important,
yeah.
we didn't always do that.
Well,
In many years past, I don't know.
Yeah, many years past, you guys never did anything
Right.
like that. And then the assessor before I arrived here, she created her own bills and billing.
Mhm.
And I don't know how that system is, I don't even think it's workable anymore.
Okay. Glad to see that that's the case. It
Yeah.
helps to increase the revenue stream and fairly apportion, I think, the taxes amongst the value of the properties at the time.
Yes.
So that you don't,
This is a good thing.
so what you're saying is so that you don't have to wait a whole year for that change in value.
For the change in value from
Right.
January 1st
Right,
through
to
the
the
to the
next
next January
January.
1st, right.
Right.
Makes sense. Thank you.
I recall that discussion in the past, discussion, and we did want to start doing that. I don't remember when we started. Okay, do we vote
Anything
on
else?
this?
Yeah, I think we should vote. I mean, we already set the public hearing, so.
I move that we go with the classification as presented.
One to one and all the no exemptions for the other 4. So we have a motion, a second, to accept the tax classification as recommended by the Board of Assessors. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. 3-0. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, I apologize, I won't be here again.
Yes, I know that, but is one of the members of the board going
Yeah,
to
Peter
be?
will be
Peter's going to be there? Okay,
Yeah.
Peter Davies.
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be any questions for him, but just in case somebody has one, you know, it's
Right.
always good to bring somebody up.
Yeah, and I'll make sure all the other counselors have the packet.
Packet of that, so that they can look it over.
Sort of like the IRS, if you don't make any changes, they don't look at you, but if you make changes, we're gonna look at
Then they get
Flags.
a microscope out or.
you. What do you mean you don't want one-to-one?
Right.
That would create a firestorm, that would.
Okay, moving on to
Thanks, guys.
review of
See you
elected
later, Mark.
salaries. Did I give you an agenda? Here's an agenda. Agenda's pretty slim today, you know, the mayor.
I don't need an agenda.
Right, there's only 2 items, so
I just looked at it before I didn't print one out.
we had very limited discussion on this, Dan, last time, and what I thought would be helpful, and I think JP agreed, is kind of just if each counselor took like a couple of minutes to just sort of see where they think we should go on raises, or if at all, and that way, once everyone has their little say, then we could see if there's common ground, or if there's wide disparity, or we want to debate it more, or we want, so, I mean, we can go in any order you gentlemen want. I can go first, I can go last, you can go first, I don't care. So,
I'm pretty sure of what I want,
okay.
what I want to suggest. I'd like us to do it in 2 parts. I'd like us to vote on, obviously, because we have a deadline on elected officials. And the only elected official I would move to increase is the mayor's position. I don't think the other positions warrant an increase at this time. And I don't think the perception of that would be good. But the mayor's position hasn't had an increase in a lot of years. I would move for something between 5 and 10, but no larger than 10 at this point, because that's more than a 10% increase if you went to 10. Now, we could argue that over 8 years, is it 8 years? It's 8 years.
I think it was, it went into effect in 10, but it was voted in like 8.
It was actually voted in 6.
Or 6, was it 6?
The vote occurred in 6. It went
That
in effect in
means it was 8.
Right.
Because whether or not the mayor took it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
It's the fact that it was in place.
In place in 8.
And so it's been 6 years. So if you did a 2% increase every year, if you were doing inflation, it would be 12%. So that's how I look at it. I think it should be a round figure, and we could do that. I'm willing to do anything between that. I don't think it should be less than 5. That's where I'm at. I think it's easy. Let's vote on the elected officials when we are in agreement. And then for the other boards and committees, I'm still in favor. I don't know how much, and I'd love to hear what the mayor and the finance director think, but the main committees, BPW, the planning and zoning, and the assessors, are they given a stipend that's fair, and should they be stipends? Because they make important decisions in our community, and I think I've always wondered why we don't pay them. We pay the assessors a small.
And Board of Public Works.
We pay them a little bit? Yeah, that's right, but
But not
much.
Not much at all.
Not much, and I'm wondering, it's not so much whether they need it, it's a matter of perception of respect to the fact that they make these decisions.
And
That's
who
right.
might be in the positions in the future, who might be interested in the future.
Well,
How about you, JP? Just,
let me write my own.
yeah, I wrote yours. So mayor,
5 to 10 mayor, no other
elected,
No other elected.
and then multi-boards
Multi-boards,
you want to look at, so further.
but my main
But
one
you-
is primary boards, okay.
JP?
Well, I'm certainly in agreement with the mayor's position, somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000. Again, when you look at the data from the other communities, I think the position, it certainly justifies that salary. With regard to the boards, strongly in favor of an increase with the Board of Public Works for the Board of Assessors. Again,
What about planning and zoning, do you think?
there's no current compensation for planning and zoning. I haven't heard anything from anyone regarding that.
You mean that, whether they're requesting?
Whether there is an issue in terms of recruiting people who are competent and willing to serve. I know sometimes on the planning board, there gets to be the 40B project, and yes, definitely you need to have competent people showing up all the time and being the nose to the grindstone on those issues. Aside from the 40B projects, it's a little less cumbersome with regard to the Conservation Commission, and I certainly could see that, those positions. However, if we're going to go to a shared position for an agent, a conservation agent, which is one of the plans that is under consideration, I wouldn't,
It's a grant
Yeah.
application.
yeah, I wouldn't be in favor of it.
I was only looking at planning and zoning and BPW and assessors myself, but I don't know. There might be others, and I would listen to anything. And just so you know, it's not about whether the people have asked for it, it's about us respecting the authority they have. And how much could that be? It's a minuscule amount, no matter what it is, compared to our budget.
Compared to the
And
budget
we
of
can't give them $5,000.
Right.
But if we gave them all a couple of hundred or 500 or something like that, it's still a minor amount. But
I would
I don't know, I mean,
in favor of that.
I could go either way.
The other thing, with regard to the counselors, we're asking, again, there hasn't been a change of vote since 2006 on the council salaries. And what we're talking about is not salaries for the current counselors, but salaries that'll start January 1, 2016.
Well, it's the same for all.
Yeah, 2016 and run through December 31st, 2018. So, when we look at,
Wanna do something?
I would be in favor of doing something. We're asking people to make crucial decisions for the city. It's been a very long time since we've addressed this issue. And I think we need to draw more people from different backgrounds.
And it
in our
doesn't come into
community.
play that it'd be 10 years
Yeah.
when it came, if it was voted in, it would be 10 years since the last time.
Right.
I don't know, I could go either way on that.
How about school committee?
If you're gonna give the council something, you gotta give the school committee something. I mean, I would think that would be a slap in the face. Frankly, I'm in favor.
I just asked
I
JJ.
I would be in favor of an acknowledgement of the services that we're asking people to provide. Right now, with the counselors, it's the lowest counselors paid in the whole area, pretty much. And even if we were to go to $5,000 a year, we would still be the lowest.
How much is Northampton?
$5,000.
Northampton gets
They have a
Northampton,
huge city, though.
but Northampton has health insurance benefits
For their
for the
council.
counselors. Yes,
If they-
if they
We got rid of that.
if they choose to avail themselves of health insurance, that's available. I don't know about the dental insurance and life insurance that also is available as
Right.
part of that package.
We put that in our new charter,
In the-
that was
in the-
specifically
it was
put in the new
specifically-
charter to remove the board, like at one time, the Board of Selectmen received insurance, and our city attorney, that was a specific part of the charter.
I don't think we're,
Melissa has some really important information on these boards and committees that I think you might want to hear.
Okay, let me just finish my thing and then we'll go to Melissa. I take a little different, I guess when I first got on finance, what bothered me, and it still is kind of my guiding principle, is I never felt that we should give anyone a raise until all our employees were back to 100% and that the city was back running 5 days a week. I mean, that was kind of my thing over the last few years. I think we're a lot closer. I don't think we're quite all the way back. That said, I guess I would not think we should raise the council or the school committee, or even the boards at this point. I'd like to keep all those. I'm a little more amenable to maybe bumping the mayor up. The 5, I ran like 1.5. I don't think the mayor should get more than we've kind of given other employees, and that's kind of been around 1.5, and running the mayor's up. I think that would be closer to the 5 than the 10. I think I could certainly live with that for the mayor. That's just my philosophy of the other boards. And again, the reason I would go different for the mayor is the mayor, that's a full-time position. I don't think anyone serves on the council, or anyone serves on the school committee, or anyone serves on the planning board or the zoning board because of the stipend. And I just think when I was up at the school department the other day, and again, I applaud the mayor for her helping the schools, but we did lose a lot of positions in the schools, and you know, all these boards, while it's not a big thing, if you give everybody $300 or $500, in the end, that could be a couple of paraprofessionals or whatever they call for the school department. And I guess That's always been kind of my philosophy, but again, I'm only one, and I certainly would be open to, to others. But I think I could certainly support maybe 5 for the mayor, given that she's full-time, and not, but I shouldn't say she, because it's not a raise for this mayor, it's a raise for the position of mayor, and the mayor, I didn't find, other than the mayor of Worcester, I didn't find a mayor that's paid less, but the mayor of Worcester is actually the city council president, so they make 34. Although they do have a bill in to go to 56. That's how the mayor...
They have a city manager.
Oh, okay.
City
Yeah,
manager.
that makes over 100.
The mayor doesn't have to do everything
Right.
like you do.
So
It's a very different position.
So in effect, the city council president serves as the, quote, mayor for 34, but the councilors do get 29, so they don't feel bad for
Councilors get 29?
So- And they actually had a thing in for the...
I could retire with that.
So anyway, that's my thought, but Melissa, please.
I
anything
didn't
you
know
can-
this, and I didn't want to interrupt, but
No.
when she was just telling me, I said, oh, you definitely
No,
need to mention
just go ahead,
this.
Melissa.
Well, if any paid stipend, anyone who gets paid from the city who's not elected, so any of the
Board.
Board committee,
is eligible for unemployment. And we've had situations in the past where we're paying unemployment to people who are still serving on those boards because we're allocated as a self-insured employer to pay a portion of their unemployment when they lose their permanent full-time job.
So can you give us the numbers? Let's say someone is an assessor and they're paid $75 a month as an assessor, and they decide, okay, I'm now unemployed, I'm no longer an assessor.
Unemployed
No.
with their full-time job or unemployed?
if, go ahead, go
Their
back.
full-time job.
Right.
Right, they're unemployed with their full-time job, but they could also get some benefit drawn
No,
on.
It's not that,
Let-
it's not that they're making a, that part of their employment history at the Department of Unemployment is the fact that they make some money here.
Mhm.
So,
And then if they then become unemployed in their full-time job as a
Whatever.
CEO of
Whatever.
corporation $1 million, and, you know.
Wait a
and-
minute, we don't have any of those here. You know,
Just
we're not.
anyway,
Frankly, I really wish we did. I
But-
really wish we had somebody who was a CEO or a business
But
person.
you know what I'm saying.
Here
They-
in the
okay.
city.
Let her finish.
This is new to me.
They
This
lose
is
their permanent full-time job that is totally unrelated to their job here, and they continue to serve on the board here. All unemployment looks at is their employment history, and we are part of their employment history for the period of the look back to calculate their unemployment. And then we pay unemployment to the Department of Unemployment for a portion of that person's unemployment payment until they return to work permanently in their regular full-time job.
In
or their-
proportion to what we pay them, or in proportion to their,
it's going to be a percentage.
so for example, the person who earned
No.
$75 a month, and had a $100,000 job,
We could
What would it
we
look like?
could be paying them more than that.
Sometimes you end up paying more than you're paying them for their stipend as a portion of their benefit.
And
Really?
paying them their stipend. Plus, if they're still on that board or committee,
still paying them.
them their stipend, plus more.
And it's not anything that that person did.
No,
It's just the way
it's-
the
The law
formula
works.
Right, it's not, they
So you
didn't do
get a
anything
bill
wrong.
because someone decided to leave the Board of Assessors.
No, they
No.
don't have to leave.
Well, all right, so they
They
just
lost their
got-
job, or-
They lost their job and they claimed unemployment. You get a bill.
Yes.
And these people don't even know you're getting a bill, but you get a bill for that person.
Right.
You have some of those right now?
We,
We've had them in the past.
and we pay 100% of whatever unemployment we get, we pay 100% of it. So they just, unemployment just bills us and we pay the bill. I
Yeah,
didn't
but
know that.
it's a percentage of
That
the
is-
total.
There's some type of formula that
But
unemployment
the
uses.
formula doesn't relate to the fact that $75 versus $100,000 is minuscule?
No,
No.
and we're still, could be paying them their $75 because they could still be on that board or committee, and then we pay a percentage of unemployment to them.
If they stop working the board or
Wow.
committee,
I didn't
that
know that.
doesn't make them eligible for
Right.
unemployment. It's the fact that they lost
Their
their
full-time
full-time job,
position.
and we are an employer in the period.
One of their employers.
Legislation's gotta fix that. That's ridiculous. Well, that stymies my thought on boards
That's-
and committees.
Well, I
it certainly
didn't know that.
stymies
That's
the
why I-
thought on expanding
Expanding.
to other
I mean, it's hard to-
boards
Yeah.
and committees to
Yeah.
take away
It doesn't
that which
really-
is already there.
Once they have a stipend, I don't think it makes a
Right.
difference either way if they get $100 more or not in that formula. but
Adding a
if
lot of
adding
new
ones,
people.
then
Adding new positions.
New position.
And I didn't mean to interrupt, but I had never heard this
No, no,
before.
I'm glad
So
you-
I said, you got it.
Well, that's important to me because I've been on the fence about it. I always wanted to give them the respect, but when we're looking for committee membership, it generally isn't those committees that we have too much difficulty with. Like, we have people wanting to be in, because they're powerful positions. The license board is a powerful position. It's the smaller ones where we don't get people. So it's not a recruiting tool to pay them money. So I don't think we should do it if it's going to cost the city
Potential.
even more money.
Potential.
So I'm okay with that.
it doesn't happen often,
right.
but it's, every once in a while you go, wow.
It's one of those things that pop up in the system and you think, you gotta be kidding me. You know?
Yeah,
Every once in a
I'm glad
while
you
you
shared
do one
that.
of these things.
That makes,
And elected officials are excluded.
I was just gonna ask
Right,
about
so
it.
you don't have to worry because when any of us go, you don't get any
You get unemployment if
No,
you retire. If you're
absolutely
not elected, you don't get unemployment.
I am elected, so I am not
But I mean, when
eligible for
if you
unemployment.
decided not to run, or if you failed in an election,
Exactly, I am not eligible for unemployment.
So you're saying if Smith College laid Dan off,
Right.
I wouldn't get anything.
you wouldn't get anything from the city. He couldn't get anything from the city. The city wouldn't have to pay any of his, Smith would be on the.
Because
hook.
he's elected.
Because he's
Right.
elected. Where if he was
Right.
on the planning board,
It's-
same circumstance, a portion of that unemployment would have to be paid for.
Well, that curtails that for me.
Very different, huh?
It does. It really is sickening. I'm gonna talk
And
to John
I
about that.
did
It's like,
learn about not being able
Why
to
should we be paying unemployment that increases? That's ridiculous.
to certainly pay a proportion of what the person's current draw is or past draw was.
And it's more than the stipend we're paying them now.
And then to continue to pay the stipend on top of that.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of freaky little
That's a huge
loopholes.
loophole in the law that I don't think makes any sense.
Getting back a little to my question, how many employees are still left to get back to 40?
The pay plan people, and not all of them,
That's
but
because I
there's
know
1
some
hour.
you've put.
There's 1
Yeah, I
hour.
know you're down to like 1 hour, right? or something.
Yeah, well, they've been down to 1 hour for a couple of years now. And there's a couple, I refuse to have Melissa have cut hours. I mean, she works
I
8.
know you have some.
Yeah, so there's people that are here with me, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They are not cut that 1 hour. They are up to their regular hours. Val came in, some people came in on their regular hours, Val came in on them. How many pay plan people are there, like about 45? So I could get you numbers, but.
Yeah, I was just
But
curious.
the,
I knew it was getting a lot closer to,
Right.
Council.
right, so we could have, discussions on that, and I can get you exact numbers, but most of them are
This is
cut,
the
and it's 1 hour.
It's the same.
A lot of the part-time ones that were cut, they went back to the full. They went
These aren't
from the
cities.
18, they didn't go
These are all
18, 19,
cities.
they went back to their
Some are
20.
cities,
Right.
yeah.
So,
Most of them
the
all-
part-time ones
most of them are
aren't.
cities.
But just going down the hall, those 3 offices, yes. And it's not that many. Believe it or not, some of them are very happy that way.
Yeah, this is what caught my attention.
Because of the Friday. So, but I'd be happy to have that discussion with you anytime if you want to have it now or anytime,
No.
you know.
What was that number again?
Well, with regard to the counselors, in terms of hours per week work, usually, I think most counselors put in about 10 hours a week in this job between the meetings, the constituent calls and time, other meetings that you go to that aren't your meetings, but you attend them anyway. So 10 hours a week, currently at the $3,000 pay, it amounts to about $5.77 an hour.
That much, huh?
Yeah, so there's at $5.77 an hour, we're not close to minimum wage. If you talk about showing respect, I think it certainly would show respect to be up around minimum wage, or maybe a little higher for the counselor positions, particularly since every other community has it. So I certainly would be in favor.
Well, I didn't know
We're
it was
asking-
10 years since I got it raised.
Don't take my thing that I feel that the councilors probably don't deserve a raise, or the school committee, when you look at other cities. Like I said, I just feel again, we have a city where not everyone's getting, the people that are earning their living are not getting their full pay.
But we did give our pay plan employees a COLA.
Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah.
We gave them.
Oh, and I gave them, and
It's
anyone
not
that's
like
doing a
we're
step.
ignoring them.
No,
No,
I
no,
didn't say
no.
that.
And
And anyone that's doing a step.
right.
So the steps have
I'm
been
just
put back
saying,
in
we
the
have
COLAs.
been, you especially have been giving them.
Absolutely.
And secondly, I don't quite, I understand that, and that's an image thing, and I'm really persuaded by that.
I am
But
too.
on the other hand, we have positions of authority. We vote on a $30-some million budget. We have a lot of authority, and if we're this low compared to other communities, and some of the communities are at 3, I'm surprised the mayor of Northampton only makes 80. I didn't realize, I knew that, but still, I don't know. I don't think we should go to 5, but I don't think a minor increase. If we're going to increase the salary every 10 years, that's not so bad. If we just got a raise 2 years ago, I would say that would be ridiculous, but 10 years? On the other hand, and the other thing about it is, although we've had pretty good election cycle last time where we had 6 running for 4, more people, would they come if it was making a little more money? I don't know.
Well, I think you would draw more people, and I think you might draw a different type of person, somebody who could afford to do the job. For many people, if you're not on a retirement, or if you're not in the public sector already, or in with one of the colleges, you may not just be able to afford to do this work and put the time in, I think, that's necessary to put in. We don't have a lawyer on the board. I'm surprised. We don't have many professionals. We certainly don't have any business people, and I'm not sure that going to 5,000 would bring them in.
But that's what I was going to say, I mean, with the difference
But
between 3 and 5.
I would love to see
Tell them to check
a
into it.
broader
'Cause that's really good information,
perspective.
Melissa.
Well, I could go either way on that. I wouldn't go more than 4. I wouldn't go more than 1,000. But, and as I said when I started, I wasn't in favor of doing it at all yet, but some information's come to light. I'm prepared not to, I think we should think of, let's dwell on
Take
this. I'd like to say this, though, with regard to the mayor, you only want to be at 5, and you and I were closer, maybe we'd go with 10. If we put it out to 10, and the council debates it, and an amendment goes to 7.5 or down to 5, I could live with that if arguments were made either way. Like your argument isn't bad. But on the other hand,
I'm very sensitive to that argument. that you raised.
Well, I'm just
I would
going,
like to
again,
see- I would like
I
to
always
see-
feel people should lead, and again, this isn't, I think Karen's done a great job, it's nothing about Karen or who may be a next mayor or something, but it's the position. But I don't think the position really should grow, I mean, it should be more, I agree with that.
Right.
And it's a full-time, when somebody takes that on, they can't have too many part-time jobs.
Right.
You can't have any.
But again, I also like to send a message.
Yeah.
Again, I think, just looking at our last couple of collective bargaining things, the unions have been pretty good about
1.5%.
taking 1.5, and I guess I just don't want to send a message that, okay, well, hey, thanks for settling for 1.5, but we're going to kick the mayor up to, 3% raise or 2, that's just my thing.
Well, what's 5,000 over 8 years? That's not, it's like, what, 2%, not even.
No, I'm not saying it's that much more, Dan. That was just my feeling. Kick it out 1.5 looked closer to 1.5.
The other question I have in my mind is, will by 2016, the pay plan be able to be restored?
Well, as she said, it's close. It's real close
No,
now, because a lot of people are. I don't know. You know, guys, we should at least, we could start at 5 if you want to. I could
Well, why
go
don't
either
we-
way. I don't want to say nothing. You can't say nothing.
Why don't we take one more meeting, but I think we got to
We're
definitely
going to vote
decide.
on it the next
We
meeting.
got to definitely decide at the
Vote on the
next.
elected officials the next meeting.
Okay.
And I think from this comment, I don't think we're going to do any reports at the board.
And then the other-
That was really.
That was very
really great.
enlightening.
She has more information.
And then just as an aside,
Just a little
on
wealth of
things like,
knowledge.
things like the clerk, I know, because Barbara,
Clerk of the council?
clerk of the council, stuff like that is not a multi-board. So that's something we would have to put in our budget, I
That's
think we
right.
talked about.
Yep.
Only
I wanted to ask you something.
in this figure here, Dan, which I found out from Barbara, 4,000 if the city clerk also clerks for the council
Where is this?
on the clerk's
But
salary.
that figure 2760 is the clerk for the council. That's what we pay her.
Yes, I realize that. I was just going to say, if you're the city clerk and you clerk for a council, you can't make more than $4,000. That's all I was saying.
Well, that's
If we pay her
law.
20, that's,
Right,
yeah,
that's a law.
that's a lot. Now, you see some of these clerks make 7,500. And again, I'm not talking,
But they're not the clerks.
I'm not talking for Barbara. This is something we can decide next, it'd be something
Well,
that
the city
we'd have to
clerk
talk
is
to the
pay
mayor.
plan, and that's a different story.
We would have to talk to the mayor about putting that in the city
That's
council
your
budget
budget.
if we wanted to do anything.
But
That was just-
let me say this.
Because there is some other people that they're not multi-board members that do the same type of thing, getting fees. And again, I'm not necessarily raising any of them either. I'm just
Right.
bringing that out, that's a different category that we don't have to decide right now, even if we wanted to do
Right,
something.
that's budgetary.
I look at, and I'm going to ask you this because Mr. Tozak and I had a little argument about it.
Oh, boy.
The city clerk is, in my opinion, although they're hourly, she's basically like a salary person. She gets her job done, and she does what she has to do. So if she takes some time to do the city council minutes during her regular time,
She's allowed to do.
I don't have a problem with that.
Well, no.
Do you have a problem with
No,
that?
no. First of all, she is allowed to do that. She is allowed to do all city council agenda, minutes, and she does it on city time. That is part of her.
He had a problem with
That's-
that.
Oh.
Maybe that's why they can only make 4,000, right?
Well, I think that's part of it.
Because-
Probably is, because they can
You
do
know
part
what,
of it
yeah,
on there.
and again, I'm not making
Are you saying allowed by virtue of state law?
No, I'm saying she is allowed under her agreement that she has when she started being clerk for the city council. And probably where all the, discrepancy came is at one time, you probably remember I was a licensing board clerk for many years. I had to we at one time had to sign these little stipulations that we would not do I would not do any of my licensing board clerk work on my city time. They were two separate little things going on here.
Does that come from the selectmen or something?
It was just the way it was, and then, and actually, do you remember, I'm sure you do, Barbara was the zoning board clerk.
Right.
So we had to sign things, or, she was on the man-hand, you could not do any of those things on your regular work time. So that's where that came from. But from day one, when Barbara became the city
Council.
the city council clerk, she was and does do the agendas and the minutes and all that, and she is hourly. Barbara is.
Well, I'm
she
just
is
saying
hourly.
from a point of view.
And she's an excellent employee.
Well, but saying that, because
But
she
it's not here
doesn't-
and there, she does it.
and I don't necessarily think we need to increase her salary that much because she has the time.
No, I wasn't
She has the
suggesting
time to
that.
do it. It's not bad. Maybe we can go to 3 to make it a round figure, but I don't know. I don't think it's a bad salary right now.
And again, this is something we don't have to, it has to go to the mayor's budget anyway, so it's something.
No, the city, well, if we were going to increase it, we vote on that.
Not on hers, because hers is part of the
You
budget.
put it in your budget.
Because she's not a multi-board.
We could recommend it.
We could recommend it to the
next year.
mayor in the
Well,
budget.
what I'm saying is we could recommend an increase. Well, we can do it when it comes time for budget.
When the mayor goes around to.
I'm just saying that for me, it's okay, it's not bad, because she's not forced to do all this work at night and on the side.
No, and I only mentioned it because it was in our list of stuff we got.
I'm just curious how you felt about it.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Bring it on. Anything. You can ask anything. I don't care.
And believe me, I have the highest respect for Barbara. I think this community would be a great loss if we didn't have Barbara.
Are you kidding?
In that
We all
position. Okay, so that being said.
Right.
But let's say it wasn't Barbara, it was just a city clerk, any city clerk.
Just a clerk.
And that person
Where is that?
gets paid essentially a counselor's salary to go to the council meeting and then go to work and type up the minutes and the agendas at work, where they're being paid for their job.
No,
And all the counselors, as far as I know, don't have another job to go to, that they can get through their job and get paid at the same time from both places. So somehow there's a discrepancy there that $27.60 and $3,000, and the $27.60 person can go to work and type up the minutes and do the things.
Yeah, but see, I don't think that's a problem.
On company time, and think that
But
the positions are adequately
She has an agreement.
compensated.
But the problem with that,
But the city
JP,
council
the problem with that argument is it's city business, it's city business. It's not like she's working over at
Donut.
another company.
Believe me, if you were working in a different place, they might have a
Well,
problem.
but the point I'm trying to make is she's doing city business
So I
for
would,
the city council. I don't have a problem.
I wouldn't be looking to raise that position salary.
Okay, that's what I just said. So I think you went rounded about and came to the same point.
I came to the same conclusion, but I also wanted to make the comparison to...
I just can't get over.
Well, anyway, why don't we, well, I would like to get this done by the next subcommittee meeting, so
But this
I
is
think
good.
we've all
We've had
taken
good
in,
debates,
we've
good
all taken in each other's, and, you know, I'll keep an open mind too, and really look the numbers over again, and
No, you can have
and if it has to be you know, more than one opinion, you know, a minority and a majority opinion of the council, we can do that too, so it's,
it. Much rather have a consensus.
I would like to get to a
I would
consensus.
like to...
I'd like to get to a
try reach
consensus if we
some sort of
could,
consensus.
you know.
Well, I'm thinking about the 10 years, and I'm thinking about what Dan said. So you have to think about the 10 years.
Right, no, I said I was keeping it
Debate
open.
the whole thing.
Right.
10 years.
As I said, I'll give us a couple weeks.
But you know what? I'm not gonna cry if we all decide not to raise our.
If that happens, I think, I should...
But if we raised it 1,000, it's $9,000 to the city. Increase in budget. If we raised, let's say we raised the council's $1,000. And we raised hers for, let's say we did 10, that's 20 grand. It's not a small amount of money. I mean, from the normal person's perspective, $20,000, $19,000. You gotta think what that looks like.
So let's take 2 weeks and think about it, but have some definitive decisions.
All right.
Okay? Anything else tonight,
No,
ladies,
we
gentlemen?
go home and eat.
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
And, you know what, I just wanted to,
Oh, I'm sorry.
one more thing, and I just wanted to tell you that Melissa's gonna check on too.
Hang on.
Melissa's our little wealth of knowledge tonight. She comes up with these real slingers. And she's just gonna double check in retirement because she thought, you know, something, you know, when it hits your head about 5,000 for elected, it might be a retirement thing, it might go back into the unemployment thing, but she's gonna check with retirement on that. So she'll have information. If it's something that affects it, she'll let you know for the next.
You mean yours, the mayor's salary?
No.
Or our salary? or-
Yeah, like
For the councilors, it makes the councilor eligible
Yeah.
for
yeah.
retirement.
She's
That's
gonna-
there's a threshold there?
Five
She's-
thousand.
she's thinking-
It adds retirement
Is
benefit.
that why a lot of the
So
people are
she's-
at 5,000 or more? A lot of
That's
the
why
other
they're at
cities in
least
town?
five.
Yeah, it
gonna
used to be,
check that
Dan,
out.
you weren't,
So I'm about to retire. I vote for 5,000?
but you actually
You have to do another term.
got state credits for all those years before, because there
Yes.
used to be no threshold, so even if someone
Those
was
Board of
making,
Selectmen days are all correct.
even if people were making like $1,000,
Yep,
you were getting a
I'm
benefit.
sorry.
So
We don't
say,
get that now.
no,
You don't get that now.
No.
You did.
now Melissa, if someone was, we say we did kick the threshold up to 5,000, would someone have to contribute to do they have to contribute to the retirement?
but she's gonna get, she just
You're gonna
mentioned
find-
that to me, and that's really
I
good
just know
information,
that,
so she's gonna
I just know
check.
that that's a $5,000 of threshold.
Threshold,
You
right.
have to make at least 5,000 or you're not eligible for a retirement system. Period. That's just the way it
Right.
works now. And so the
Wow.
question is if you raise it from what it is
Mm-hmm.
to 5,000, are we
Does it
buying
kick anything?
Does it change anything?
Are we buying in?
Great question.
Is
If you could find that out for us
Yeah.
between 2 weeks?
Well, if that adds
And
an
then-
increase in cost to the city for that benefit, that's another no.
Have to go to 499.
And then just one little tiny comment I wanted to, I don't care if you're on or off, one little comment, you know, you're talking about, school committee, city councilors. You are the legislative branch of the city, so your responsibilities are much different than school committee. The school committee's responsibilities, their authority and their hiring and firing authority is over the superintendent. And are the legislative branch, so to me, they're
We have authority
really,
over the entire city.
they're really
They have
two
authority over
quite
one.
different groups. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I know they're both elected, but, and,
But one has responsibility for one person, the other has responsibility for...
well,
Well, they have
it's
one
authority.
department, but it's a
All
bigger.
but
Well, your subcommittee,
All but one person.
what?
I said we have authority for all but one person.
Yeah, so, and then the other thing
One
too,
thing here.
is when you're talking, the other thing is when you're talking, you know, like what COLAs are out there, school administrators do not get the 1.1. You do know that they get more than that.
School administrators.
So their raises are not
Are,
1.5, or they don't match the unions necessarily. You know, so, you know,
But that's
sometimes
dictated by the school board. They don't have a union.
the school committee The only increase that they vote on is, they only have that one, I don't think only, I'm going to say it like that, but they have one position, and that is the superintendent. So they vote on an increase. They
For the
vote to
superintendent?
increase, yes, whether to do it or not, and then, and again, with,
So who
a
sets
review.
the salaries increases for the administrators?
I believe that would be the superintendent.
Superintendent
Is the one
by
that
herself,
decides
by
what
herself.
administrators get.
So she
you
can
know.
decide
I mean, they're
first.
all evaluated, and there's
No,
criteria
I know
and
there's a
everything,
mechanism.
but they're not, it's not, well, the union's got one this year, so you get one. They got
Necessarily.
3 this year, so you get 3. They're not,
Well, they also do it on a merit-based probably system too.
And what is the current superintendent's salary?
105?
I believe it's 1, 2.
Well, I was gonna say 120.
125,
I believe so.
That's in keeping with what
105.
superintendents are making.
And they are very much in demand.
And we
Superintendents are
require
very
them
much
to
in
have a
demand.
PhD in their field, don't they? Have to have a...
Well, we require a lot of us, my little girl here.
She should
We
have a-
require a lot of them to have PhDs.
Not
Well,
gonna get
I'm
one
just
these
saying,
days.
Masters.
Say someone
it's
that
not
one.
simply,
The finance director should have a PhD.
We don't have enough time to.
yeah, go out and get it, will you?
No, but, we have
We'll pay for
Our
it.
personnel director has a master's.
Put that down in writing now.
But
It's
they
on
are,
the air,
but the
but-
superintendents, that position is so much in demand. I mean, that's a.
I know
It's
when
a
you,
pretty intense
I know when
position.
you read one leaving somewhere, it's
Yeah.
not long before they're hired somewhere
They're,
else.
They're hired
right,
somewhere else and offer more money,
And
yeah.
and you, exactly. So, just
Well, to
nothing,
get...
nothing but just thought.
It's
you
an
might-
Well,
intense,
appreciate it.
fairly highly skilled position. The experienced superintendents, they're in demand because it's such it's a hard job. Yeah. Especially when you have to lay off a lot of people. That's
And-
gotta be hard.
Right.
Well, anyway, back to
Anyway.
adjourn.
Very good.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right.
And-
We said aye. We were
And
joined.
you